I ask for the truth on behalf of Helen Governo concerning legal, love and financial issues. I ask for guidance and insight in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the truth, always. And we just cut the deck for you there, Helen. Don't normally do legal because I'm not a lawyer, so and we don't do medical because I haven't got a PhD. I'll leave it to those to get it wrong instead. But we can at least take a look and see what may be significant. I'm going to deal out 3 cards here. The first card we deal is in the possession of your recent past, which is a period of time between now and this time last month, isn't it? Normally, the recent past. Then the next card we deal is in the possession of the present, and then finally over here we deal the immediate future. We'll just line them up, just so they look a bit presentable. The first card we reveal is of course, it's a beginning, middle and end like Facebook, isn't it, I suppose, really. Sorry, this particular deck has got a mind of its own. It keeps doing things. Let's pull out the first card and let's just see what it is. We'll just bring it round there and we'll just flip it nice and slowly, not to disturb its energy, and we'll reveal to see what that's all about. We here have the energy of the 9 of Cups. In this particular scenario, 9 of course is the peak of magic, isn't it? Any number between 4 and 9 is to do with the element of water, and of course cups is to do with water as well, isn't it? So we've got the watery part of water in that sense, mental and moral qualities of the same there. The 9 of Cups often is referred to as the wish card, often to do with your wishes and your desires. Of course it's to do with feelings and I suppose a peak of emotion and things like that, which I suppose can relate to as well. I'm sort of seeing there the green of the heart chakra as well, as if there's a touch of feeling going on there. Maybe I'm sort of, although it's very dark, isn't it? But nevertheless, we're sort of like a green mist, as if there's sort of confusion in your heart or something like that. It's as if what you wish, I'm sort of getting from this, based on your question and everything, as if whatever it is you're wishing for, you're not too sure if you should be wishing for it. And whatever desires you've recently had, of course, whatever you've been recently wishing for, but whatever desires you've recently had, should you have been really sort of longing for that. Seems as though there's more questions than answers, doesn't it? I want to move on to the next card to see what tallies in here, maybe in the sense of if that's the cause, what's the effect, or is it really, is this the cause of the future, or are they all the same? Is it just time is all the same, isn't it? And it's just time that separates the past and the future. This, you've got here the energy of the Queen of Cups. More cups, more energy of cups. More water, the watery part of water again. The Queen of Cups is often thought to be I suppose some form of shaman or enchanter. In this particular case, notice how it's the owl. The owl tends to focus on your ancestral spirit guides, and as if to send you an omen or some sign or omen from right now. Whatever's happening now, it's as if it's saying that what is happening now is a sign or an omen. I just want to just take a look at what's in the background there. The moon there is more like a sort of dark sort of moon full of black clouds in the background there, isn't it? As if you can see it but you can't, if you get what I mean. As if there's a storm brewing. Why am I sort of thinking that? As if there's a storm brewing here. I don't know what this is all about. I'm just getting that from this particular card in this particular deck. I may, from another deck, another tarot deck, I may get it different. But generically, of course, as we know, it's the Queen of Cups, the watery part of water. She's a shaman, she's an enchanter, and she's got the ability to see. She's got the ability of foresight. She's got the gift of foresight, which is what you, I suppose, are having to use now. You're more having to use your intuition, aren't you, really? And of course, it's the cups energy, isn't it? But whatever you've been wishing for there's been a touch of, I suppose, darkness in the sense of the green of the heart chakra, although not a strong green, but nevertheless a pale green, as if to sort of hint at a mystic of confusion in the heart just recently about what you're wishing for. Be careful what you wish for, of course, because you will get it. But paying attention to signs and omens right now would be wise, would be the wiser of the options that you have available from a relationship point of view, and also from a career and monetary point of view. From a financial point of view, maybe you should pay attention to signs and omens there. More cups energy again, 2 of cups this time. You're all water, you are, aren't you? All cups in the sense, the 2 of cups, of course, is two's company, isn't it? Two's company. Three's a crowd, isn't it? And of course we've got that sort of energy going on there. Of course. 2 is the element of air, so it's the airy part of, isn't it? The airy part of water, in the sense of creative and transmissive powers of mental and moral qualities, as if communicating in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so, you will be communicating those feelings with others. Crowley often calls the 2 of Cups the Lord of Love, because that's what you're doing. You're communicating feelings, aren't you? And that's what it's all about. Creative and transmissive powers. You're transmitting your feelings. So from the wishes and desires, and which is nevertheless overshadowed, isn't it, really, with a touch of confusion, where having to use your intuition now and follow the signs and omens and pay attention to them, which will sort of eventually result in, well, will it be love or will it be partnership? It can be just nexus. If it's to do with a career, it can do with a partnership. Is this a partnership, a business partnership that turns into a relationship? But of course, from a monetary point of view, maybe, I don't know. There doesn't seem there doesn't seem to be much money energy, as you would call it, earth energy Here it's all emotions, it's all cups, it's all feelings, it's all relationships. This is about getting your relationship sorted out, and maybe, just maybe, a new relationship or the beginning of a new relationship blossoms between now and this time next month. But pay attention to the signs and omens right now, and allow yourself to be healed. Because time is the healer. Cups represents time, because water flows like time, represents the spirit of the west, and the spirit of the west flow like time. Time is the healer, and all that sort of thing. But be careful what you wish for here, because you may just get it. You may get the nexus, you may get the partnership that may be or may not be. But there's still a green mist there, isn't there? Surrounded by darkness in the background, as if there's just something there, isn't there, that, I don't know, it's nevertheless uncomfortable, isn't it? But it's one of those uncomfortable sort of feelings I'm sort of sensing, more of an uncomfortable feeling that you're prepared to harness and deal with. That sort of thing, well, it's a risk worth taking. Is any risk worth taking? I don't know. Unnecessary risks may not be, but this partnership, this nexus, I sort of sense as though there is a mist. It's the mist that comes from here, the 9 here, from the wishes and the desires, and you will get what you wish and desire for. But that mist moves forward. But are you paying attention to the signs and the omens now? Are you using your intuition? Are you following your intuition right now? If you hear an owl hoot, maybe that's a sign. I don't know. I'm sort of getting as though it may be. Around about a new moon, I'm sort of getting new moon. I don't know. The new moon is actually on the 6th tomorrow, strangely enough. Maybe it's time to initiate. Maybe it's time to initiate magic, in order for the two to come in from the ace, as you would say, in that sort of regard. Although you haven't got an ace, but it's the ace is a beginning, isn't it? But this is the next stage, and I sort of, like I say, this is to do with relationships, and there's something very uneasy about it. I don't know why. I'm just getting it from this deck. Maybe it's just the deck that I'm using, but I'm just getting that vibration from it. So for now, I think, just for now, these cards for you have spoken.